So what are you about to get yourselves into? Well, today I invite you to take a journey with self, to discover, rediscover, connect, reconnect, and align to the complete, self-satisfying, awe-inspiring freedom that is in you. And that is called your inner being. Are you ready? Let me know. So I'm the kind of girl who needs the energy. So I need you to talk to me. I need you to give me a thumbs up. I need you to give me a woo woo. Just something to let me know you're with me today. Is everyone with me today?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Woo woo.
Woo woo. So I'm from Brooklyn. So you're going to get a little of that Brooklyn swag. Woo woo is all Brooklyn all day. Okay. All right. So before we begin, I invite you to prepare and set the intentions for our time together with me and for our journey. So what I would like you to do is to be still, remove yourself from any distraction right now. Remove yourself from any distraction. Get yourself in a position as if you were about to pray or meditate, just a place of stillness. And then I'd like for you to close your eyes, Good. Now, identify a person or place or thing that brings you joy, that makes you feel good. I invite you to go to your happy place within that person, place, or thing, whatever it is. And I want you to lean into it, experience it, feel it, enjoy the good space and the good feeling that it brings to you. Stay there. Don't leave it. Lean into it. Keep reaching. Go deeper. Now, quietly to yourself, select some words to describe how you feel. To yourself, do a word association based on what you are experiencing and feeling within yourself. Stay with it. Lean into it. Nice. Does it feel good? Now, slowly and gently prepare to come out of the space that you are in. I'm going to count to 5, and at 5, I invite you to open your eyes and return back to our community. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello? Is everyone back? Good. In that few minutes, it is my hope that you arrived at a deep state of bliss, that you found complete happiness and joy and whatever it is you decided to lean into and focus on. I'd like to hear from a couple of people, and I want you to share with me a few words that came up for you in your moment of rest and focusing on something that gave you that bliss or that joy. So could someone unmute and share with me, with us, a couple of words to describe what you experienced in those few moments?
Yeah, let me assist with this so that
Yeah.
we can have order. So Laura, can you unmute yourself so that you shared in the chat?
Yes, Shawnee.
All righty, so just share what you experienced.
I experienced joy looking at the beautiful smile of my grandson, the fact that I can start feeling love just through his smile. I went back to a place where I used to have some joy as a child, in the stream, we call it river, a hole that we used to go play and swim. And I experienced that joy, the love of the water, just playing in the water, the freedom that I had at that moment in the water, just brought back some moments of just joy and tingling feeling in my body. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Can we have one other person?
Yes, let me see. Darnice, I always love your imagination and how you tell stories and express with such vibrancy. So if you did the exercise, can you unmute and share what you discovered? Darnice.
Good morning, everyone. I experienced peace, tranquility, the rays of the sun beating down on my skin as I picture myself just laying outside. Where is my happy place? Laying in the grass, just absorbing the light, the sun, the heat, and just being with myself, quieting all the noises, just listening to the birds chirp, and just being with myself. That's where I want to have the most peace, the most joy, the most abundancy is with myself.
Very nice. Let's get one final person. Thank you so much for sharing. That was beautiful. I felt that. Thank you. Can we have one more person, Shawnee, please?
Yes, I want to hear from a brother. So Adam, if you did the exercise, please unmute yourself so that we can hear from you. Adam Epps.
Good morning, Shawnee. Good morning, host. Thanks for creating the space for me. I just want to say that I felt grateful, and that I felt very good about where I am, despite the pandemic and all the drama that's going on. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to wake up each and every day, focusing on my creativity and focusing on doing my best to create financial freedom through sports betting. So I just wanted to say I appreciate the space that you create for me and others to step outside of their box and and just evolve as one. Thank you.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. My hope is that you all experience those good feelings. And what that feeling connects to is the perfectly sweet, beautiful experience of your inner being at work. Your inner being at work. And so today, our conversation is around aligning more powerfully to your inner being. And what I am going to do with your help is to offer you practices and principles around how that feeling that you experienced in just a few minutes that we entered into that space of reflection on that thing or that person that brings us a good feeling, that you experience that more often and more powerfully in your life. But first, it's very important that we understand what it means as we speak to the words inner being. What is the inner being? That's where it begins. When we are totally attuned and understand what it is, we are able to tap into it and align to it more powerfully. So your inner being is your spirit of truth and all that is good and perfect. It is a complete expression and divine essence of God within you. It is your source of faith and divine light. Your inner being is your higher self, your best self, and it is your guide to what you know is best for you. Receive that. That was very important. Your inner being is your guide towards what you know already is best for you. It is your voice of truth. It is your voice of faith. Your inner being is in love with you. It is true. It is good. It is perfect. It sees you. It values you. It honors you. It honors you. It wants what is always best for you. It's love, it's well-being, and it maintains a consistent good space, regardless of circumstances or how you feel. It holds close your desires and dreams and every promise for your life. It is waiting there for you. Every promise, every goal, every dream, it rests there within you. Your inner being is consistently strengthening you, energizing you, and creating in you the motivation and the longing and the ability to fulfill your purpose and do good works. It is intimately connected to you. It is you. When we feel, our inner being feels. When we think, our inner being thinks. When we say we can't, our beautiful inner being is saying, yes, you can. When we say I have a problem, our inner being says, let me guide you towards the solution and keep you at peace. It always holds steady. It's always true in love, in spirit, and in light. Let that sit with you for a moment. That's very powerful, because what that is simply a description of all that you are. It is you, it is me, it is us, and it is alive in us, and it is perfect, and it is beautiful. Why does it matter that we know our inner being? Well, that's where our personal power functions and operates. Personal power, we all have it in a very unique way. It's being truly in alignment with our higher self, our best self, our moral self, our perfect self. It is always pure and in good standing. So to be in alignment with that part of us makes us authentically powerful. It's an overflowing of joy and freedom and peace. And it's also a trust in self and of self. When you are operating and aligned to your inner being, you make more confident decisions. Your service and your ministry and your practice and your business is powerfully impacted. You will consistently tap into your inner strength and a confident peace. Am I persuading you here? Are you with me? Are you feeling this? Are you seeing the power that you hold within you yet? It's rich. It's deep. It spiritually enlightens you, and it's great favor. And it operates fully in the anointing of authority. You hear that? When you are tapped into your inner being, you are fully operating in the anointing of your personal power and the authority that you have. And that impacts everything in your life. Abundantly blessed, abundantly fulfilled. It is a perfect space for you to manifest everything that you want. When you tap in and align to that piece of you that is your inner being, you are positioning yourself to manifest everything that you want and attract whatever is in your heart to achieve. When you are aligned and in trust with your inner being, you will be unstoppable, divinely ordered, walking truly and fully in your purpose because you are tapping into the essence of your true you. I feel it. I don't know about you, but it's beautiful. Let me share with you my story about the experience of discovering my inner being. I've been a Christian for over 20 years and am grateful to have a relationship with God and to be blessed and experience the goodness of his grace in my life. I'm a mother. I have two amazing children, and I've been pretty blessed. And it's been good. But in a season of difficulty in my life, I was challenged with making some very important decisions and choices. Very important, not only important, hard choices and decisions that go against what you should do, that aren't necessarily right in the eyes of some folks, that actually challenge everything that I thought life was about. And in that, I also depended on God to give me the answer. I would look to God believing that I needed him to speak to me very clearly and tell me what to do and how to do it and the way to do it. I was waiting on God, waiting on God, waiting on God. I need to hear from God. But then in my time of personal prayer, he taught me something about making decisions and choices. He taught me a very important lesson, that when I honor my true self, the inner being within me, I will always honor him. And he taught me that in honoring myself, I'm learning to trust myself. And in truly trusting the authentic self, all that is in me, all that the inner being creates within me, if I lean into that and truly listen to my spirit guide me, I cannot go wrong. I cannot go wrong, because honoring that voice within me, that spirit within me, that's guiding me, I will do exactly what his will is. Does everyone get that? Because his voice is speaking and guiding within us, but we have to make the choice to listen. So the question of what do I do next? What's right? What's wrong? Or rather, let's change the question. What do I really want? What do I really need? Stick with me on that. What do I really want? What do I really need? It is an opportunity. That particular question is an opportunity for us to lean in and truly search our souls for truth. In spite of others' opinions, in spite of what the world says, in spite of influences, it negates that and it invites you to lean in and love on you and discover your truth. How often do we honestly lean in and discover really what our truth is? Really what we need? So I'm going to pause for a second. I'm eager to hear from the community about what you're feeling and what you're thinking and what is your spirit telling you right now in this moment about how you are honoring yourself, how you are cultivating and honoring your inner being. Shawnee, could you help me tap into our folks?
Of course. Yes, I got you. So I'm curious about Wanda's share, Wanda Beach. She said she's learning to do just that. So thinking about your muscle that you built, Tirza, over the years and what you just described your journey to be, I know that you're the perfect person to guide her towards expanding that learning. So Wanda, if you can unmute yourself and join us in the space of discussion and exploration of where you're at, that would be great.
Great.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm learning to trust my inner self. What I realize is through the experiences I've dealt with as a child, that growing up, I have allowed those things and my mother to really make decisions for me. And I too am a Christian, but now I'm allowing myself to really just sit still in my being and learning who I am and learning to listen to the spirit within.
Yes.
And not to block out the voices around me and do what's best for me where God's guiding me to go. And I've just started doing this on this journey since COVID. My sister introduced me to Wake Up Everybody, and I've been on here different mornings, and this is really helping me to grow.
Excellent, excellent. Wonderful. I celebrate you, sister. So beautiful. What a aha moment, freedom moment when you get to that space where you're trusting and listening to yourself. There is
Yes.
nothing like it. There is a freedom in it. Wanda, thank you for sharing. Look, you don't need any coaching, girl. You got this. You're on your way. All right.
Thank you.
Let's hear from somebody else. How are you feeling? What are you thinking about this topic? Is it new to folks? You know, see, here's the deal. We grow up, it's funny Wanda referred to her mom and her mom telling her what to do and how to live her life. Or we watch our parents and the choices that they make, or the people who raised us, and we think that it has to be that way. We think it has to be the way they do it. So when COVID comes, we think and believe panic, be panicky, be worried, be nervous. See, there's a debunking that is required within us and an unlearning about some of the beliefs that we grew up with. And when we speak directly to the alignment of your inner being, many of us have not been taught how to tap into our true selves because we have been influenced by others. But it takes a grown folk, a mature folk, to step out and say, I know what's best for me. And this conversation isn't about you moving in your flesh and doing what you want to do. It's actually the opposite, ladies and gentlemen. It is the opposite. Remember, when I described the inner being, I described it as being so attuned to the essence of the spirit in God. And that is what makes you powerful, not on your own, but that spiritual connection, which gives you the guidance and the wisdom and the discernment to make good choices for your life. Okay? So do we have someone else we want to pull into this conversation?
Sure. I'm scrolling and looking because I'm just led to look for the names that Spirit says to call upon. So there are two people that I'm aiming at in a good way. Jenny Lyons and Kenitra. Jenny and Kenitra, if you could unmute so that we can hear from you what you're hearing in this conversation, what has opened up, what has expanded. Jenny Lyons and Kenitra.
Good morning. This is Kenitra.
Good morning.
Awesome.
Hi, good morning. I'm learning to stay still. Since COVID happened, it allowed me to stay still and really get into myself. And this Wake Up series has helped me a lot in that way, especially in not worrying so much about what's going on and leaning into people that pour into me on how I can still stay strong through this, because it's very challenging. And in order for me to be strong, I can help my family be strong as well, because they're like stressing out, especially my husband, over things. And I'm just finding that helps a lot, and I'm still growing in it and learning to trust more of my inner self.
Right. So that trust is your steadiness. When everyone else is in a muck, it is that trust within yourself that provides you that steadiness. It's very important. And you mentioned, your husband worrying about things. So imagine someone so close to you feeling the opposite of what you desire to feel. That's challenging. That's difficult. But the trust, I love that you said you're trusting yourself, because you have to stay steady in that. That self-trust, the inner being that's speaking to you and guiding you is saying, I got you, you're good, don't worry about it, right? But we have to practice certain principles and characteristics and build up the character of the inner being so we maintain that steadiness. And in a few minutes, we'll talk about that, because we have to nurture and cultivate it. Because there are so many influences around us that say we shouldn't be at peace. We shouldn't trust ourselves because the news and the world and the nation says something very different. But the God in us is our most powerful truth. And what this is, ladies and gentlemen, is a call to follow the God in you, the power of you. Everything that you have, folks, is already in you. You have to make a choice to tap into it. You have the free will. Don't go left. You go right when everyone says you should go left, because you know the truth that is within you. I felt that, y'all. I feel like I'm preaching. All right. We're going to have one more person up here.
Beautiful. Now I know that Jenny went out and came back in, so I think there was an issue with her reception, but I'm going to call your name one more time. So Jenny Lyons, if you can unmute. And then if she is unable, I think she is able. So let's see what's happening. All right, excellent, Jenny.
There was something wrong with my speaker. So hi. And I'm so sorry, but I start work at 8 and I had to get something to eat. I'm sorry.
Take care of yourself for sure. So
thank you.
If you could share, Tirza, if you can just repeat the question for Jenny so she's in alignment.
Sure. This is just a check-in. What are you feeling about what you're hearing? What is your inner being saying to you right now? See, you're practicing and feeling something speaking to you right now. Let me switch that up. Your inner being is speaking to you right now. If you're listening and if you're leaning into this conversation, your inner being is telling you something right now. What is it telling you? Trust it. What is it saying? And this is for everyone, not just for Jenny.
Okay.
What is it saying?
I don't mind sharing though. Mine is saying to trust me more. I do listen to my inner self. We all grow up with morals and values of what's right and wrong, and I follow that. But then you come across situations where that inner voice is like, don't do it. And I always listen to my inner voice, and I always tell other people, listen to that inner voice, or your intuition, whatever you want to call it, because it never lies to you. That inner voice, as God is my witness, has guided me so many times when I've gone into situations that was like, something's telling me that, and I don't know what you call it, intuition or something, or the inner voice, but that has guided me throughout my life. And what it's saying to me, to Jenny, is I'd like you to reconnect with me, please. That's what it's saying to me.
And the church said amen. All right. So that's right. Okay. So you talk about the inner voice and intuition and our gut, right? So that's what I grew up with. I grew up with, my intuition or my gut is telling me that I should do this.
Right.
So the search and the connection to the inner being, in my opinion, and you guys can debate with me on it if you want, is a graduation from intuition and gut. How's that feel? It's a step up. Yes, our intuition is there, but if you're not connected to the spirit within, it's not as powerful, Because your intuition could tell you to do something that you thought you should do because you thought it was your intuition and it was dead wrong. Dead wrong. Right? So that's what I'm saying, when we connect to the inner being, which is all good and perfect, connected to divine order, and the spirit, it's a graduation from my gut is telling me. It's a step up. So we're talking about higher level living. We're talking about raising the bar, going a step up from those terms that we grew up with, like gut and intuition. I'm pushing it a little bit here. All right? Okay, so let's keep it moving. We talked about cultivating the inner being. You know, we have to practice, intentionally practice the personal qualities and characteristics that deepen and align us to our inner being. We don't negate it. It's too special. We don't forget about it. We don't rather neglect it. We have to love on it and practice the qualities of it. So remember, when we spoke about the inner being, and I described what it is and all that's good and perfect and all that is true, and when you say you can't, your inner being says yes you can. All those things about when you say I'm not smart enough, your inner being says you're brilliant. When you say I don't have enough education, your inner being says you are more than enough. Okay, it's totally a contrast to everything that is negative. But how do we maintain that steadiness and build on that goodness? This is about self-deep inner work, right? So in my work and study, what I found to be a perfect match in terms of personal qualities and characteristics that we could develop within ourselves consistently was found in the Bible, Galatians 5, about the fruit of the Spirit. So the fruit of the Spirit lists these characteristics that we should apply to ourselves and how we treat ourselves, but also others, And so what I'm going to do is invite you to join me on reviewing and talking a little bit about the fruit of the Spirit. Because if we practice these qualities, our inner being will always be strong and healthy. Our inner being is always going to be good, but remember, this is aligning to it, right? Aligning to it. It's always good, but how you doing over here? You need to be right and aligned to it. You got me? So that's where we're going. Now listen to the title of these qualities, the fruit of the Spirit. Fruit means the production of something. It means that it draws results. There is an outcome, something good attached to it. So the idea is if we're practicing these qualities, we're going to produce the things that are all good. We're going to produce the desires of our heart. We're going to manifest and attract and manifest the things that we desire. We are going to produce abundance and be able to give abundance to others. How about that, right? Fruit of the Spirit, producing results, outcomes. So the first fruit of the Spirit is love. I'm talking about self-love. It is the chief principle. You cannot honor yourself if you are not loving all that you are. Now here's the flip. When you begin to acknowledge your inner being, you begin to fall in love with yourself. When you begin to listen to the voice, you begin to honor and appreciate you, which in turn falls into you loving you more. You see the connection? So the first thing is love, loving self and loving others, right? The more we love ourselves, the better we are in loving others. The better we are in loving others. Okay, so love of self. The next one is joy. Joy. So when I invited you in to think about something that is good, a place or a person or activity that you engage in, and you went in and leaned into it, what you discovered was joy, blissful joy, right? You tapped into feeling good. Now, these are principles that no matter what you believe, no matter what direction you go in, no matter what you value, you can practice them. They are universal practices, universal principles. Love, Joy. Feeling joy. It's an endearing state and connection to your soul where you maintain peace, you have consistency, and nothing steals it. Nothing steals your joy, no matter what's going on. It's actually a higher level of happiness. We hear a lot of people talk about happiness, but how about if we practice more joy? All right? The next one is peace. Peace is a deep confidence that is hard to explain. But as we continue to seek it and pursue it, regardless of what's happening around us, it gives us that steadiness and trust that connects and aligns to the inner being. Now, a lot of people in our lives, I shouldn't say a lot, some people may experience this. I know I do. People who may not be doing the work the way you are, who may not see things the way you are, who may not believe things as you do, may engage with you in a way that doesn't align with the peace that you want. But what maintains our peace is how we engage with them in spite of. So this whole idea of pursuing peace no matter what, pursuing peace with others, which in turn builds your peace within self. Your peace within self. Peace within self aligns you to your inner being because your inner being is all good and peaceful. Everybody got that? It's all good and peaceful. I'm going to share one more, and then I want to tap into you and see what you're thinking and how you're feeling about this. The next fruit of the spirit is patience. Patience. Exhibiting a calmness during stressful times, as what we are living in now. It's not about waiting, it's about how you wait in situations. So think about that. If inner being is peace, love, and joy, when there's conflict or when you're yearning for something, you got to match that with patience. Because when we are impatient, we're restless and we're unsettled, and we're actually the opposite of love, peace, and joy. So when we talk about practices and principles that align to our inner being, let's be men and women who wait well, who are patient with self. Another thing, because we're a continuous work in progress. So being patient with self is honorable to our inner being. It doesn't contradict our inner being. And when we are patient with others, we are perfectly demonstrating the power of our inner being. You got that? So let's talk, Shani, let's tap into some folks before we get into the last few. How are people feeling? What are they thinking about these practices that can help us better align to our inner being?
All right now, so let me just share with you all of the juice that is being generated in the chat.
That'd be great.
You know, just around the conversation of love and joy and just all of these beautiful pieces. So just first and foremost, the love fest that is in the chat with folks honoring each other. Like, this is a community that definitely celebrates and affirms one another. So I want to acknowledge that. One of the participants, Sandra, was talking about how her partner shares that we, you know, young women in particular need to stop saying they're sorry all the time, like constantly apologizing, because this society teaches them to be sorry for who they are and how they are. And then the community is just acknowledging the necessity for that. So Sandra, I was saying, just salute your partner for her stand for women and girls and teaching us to be unapologetically ourselves, and, you know, just honoring that power that we have and that we possess from birth. That's a part of our divine ordination. Let's see, patience, respecting the process. Mika just talked about just respecting and honor. She put that in caps. So Mika, I want you to come off mute if you would. And then also I acknowledge Amal and Kathy for having your hand raised earlier. I made a choice, an executive choice or decision to pick some people we had not heard in the space before, but we could always come back around if y'all are interested in speaking on the fruits of the spirit that Tirza has just presented. So Mika, can you come off mute and just talk about respecting the process and what patience avails to us when we just lean into it?
Hello, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Tirza. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yes, as Tirza was talking about patience, one of the things that I always share in the Wake Up community, and I share it in every class, I share it every time I'm on Wake Up, is respecting the process. So when you brought up patience, just connecting, respecting the process, like sitting in your patience, right? It's like how you wait. And respecting everybody's going to, what I said before was that there's distance between everything, even between you getting out of the bed to go to the bathroom, there's distance, right? And you respect that process when you wake up in the morning and you go to the bathroom. Like you get up, you go, right? That's a short distance. But where we are to where we want to be, like people want to new business, a husband or a wife or a relationship, or they want a new house, right? There's distance between where you are and where you want to be. And what has us feel so frustrated and filled with anxiety is that patience that you're talking about, that lack of respect of the process that it takes to get from where you are to where you want to be. And so as you brought up patience, I put that in the chat because the community is very familiar with respecting the process. So I just put that in the chat so it could connect the two.
Yeah, wonderful.
Respecting the process and patience. They're best friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Mika. You're absolutely right. And so here's the thing: when you honor your inner being, there may be a requirement for you to wait. See, the natural instinct, the human in us that does what we want to do at times, I don't know if anybody else is like that, but honey, that's something that I have to constantly keep in check. When we choose, though, to not go that direction and go towards our inner being, remember, our inner being always knows what's best for us. And so that may require us to wait, because in the wait, something is being developed that's going to be a blessing for us. But if we're impatient, we may miss the blessing. So there's power and even growth in your inner being when you choose to stand in the wait, standing in the wait. So thank you for that. I love it. Thank you. Shawnee, do you want to go to someone else or should I continue?
Oh, let's hear from someone else for sure. There was someone in the chat that I honed in on earlier. Oh, if Zendre can unmute, that would be great. And Tirza, after Zendre shares, we want to, bid farewell for now to those who have to leave at 8 o'clock, because some folks have to go to work and they have to make a transition. So we just want to make sure that they know how to reach you and all that good stuff. So once Zendre is complete, then we'll just make sure that we make those announcements and then we'll move forward with the presentation, okay?
Beautiful, thank you.
All right, awesome. Zendre, you there?
Yes, good morning, everybody. So I was just led by Mika's statement about being patient, and I've learned really in trusting my inner being is to respect timing and learning that everything happens in perfect timing. And I'm just really learning how to lean into that. I noticed that when I want things, sometimes I'm not in a space spiritually to receive what I'm wanting. And so I have to allow, like Mika said, the process and let everything line up, because everything is about alignment, I feel like. So once I trust the timing of everything, perfect time, perfect place, right? And I'm really learning to just lean into that, trust it, and really find joy in that, actually.
Wow.
So that's
the whole point. Find joy. That's the whole idea. If we're connecting to our inner being, we're guaranteed to walk in that joy consistently. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Beautiful, Zendre. Thank you. So Kathy still has her hand up. We can hear from her. Kathy, if you have a quick share, and then we can hear from Tirza as far as the shares with those who have to transition off the line. So Kathy, can you unmute, please?
Shawnee, before we go to the next person, and I know that we're wrapping up, I just want to quickly give the rest of the practices for those who have to leave? Is that
Oh,
okay?
sure. Yes, that's cool. Thank you.
Let's move on. So when we talk about practices that help us to align to our inner being, another one of those practices is practicing kindness. Kindness first and foremost to ourselves, being compassionate to ourselves. Some of us are so critical of self and so hard on ourselves that we're not able to honor the beauty of who we are, which is our inner being. So kindness is being genuinely kind to you and to everyone that you come across, okay? Faithfulness is another one. It's a simple faith and trust and confidence that everything is going to be okay. There's a faith that you know that you are enough, because we have been talking about it. This community has been talking about it. Having faith in a steadiness of knowing that you have what you need at the time you need it, and that you are more than enough, and divine order is always working in your favor. Divine order is always working in your favor. Remember, inner being is all good and perfect. So why won't it all be good and perfect, even when the circumstances say it's not? That's the test, right? Even when the circumstances say it's not. The next practice is gentleness, being gentle. So it connects to this idea of kindness with self, because in kindness, you're gentle with yourself, how you speak of yourself. You know, I have a 10-year-old daughter who's in this phase of saying things about herself that aren't always positive, you know, being more self-critical than self-loving. Self-critical doesn't align with inner being. So when we're gentle and we allow the spirit to deal with us on matters that are not as they are seen, we are caring for our inner being. It is said that when there is a practice of gentleness, we are most connected to grace and the power of our souls, which is our inner being. So gentleness connects to being calm, serene, and tranquil. And that's what you felt this morning when we did the exercise earlier today. The last one, and this is the one that I'm growing in the most, folks, okay? Because when you look at these practices, it's an invitation for you to identify where you need to put more investment. Some of us have it nailed down, all of them, and some of us need work in specific ones. I'm in a season of my life where I'm practicing more discipline and self-control. So when we talk about self-control, it's about keeping yourself in check. It's not letting circumstances take control of your life. And we are in a season where so many circumstances can make us go amok and crazy. But in self-control, we are saying that we have within us all good and perfect, as it is attuned to the inner being. We have love, we have peace, we have joy, we have patience, and we're divinely ordered by the Spirit. So I and you have the ability to practice and put in discipline anything that we need to be our best selves, whether it's controlling the tongue of how we speak to ourselves or others, whether it's a choice we make in a behavior. We have the ability to be disciplined and self-control, but it's a practice. And in the practice of self-control, we'll find that we're able to tap more powerfully into our inner being. Does everyone get that? We tap more powerfully into our inner being. So here's what I'll say in close of this. What we're talking about is a practice of daily choice. Every day, we have to make a choice to honor ourselves, to love ourselves, to have joy, to be patient with ourselves, gentle with ourselves, kind with ourselves. And notice I continue to say the word practice, because it's not easy, especially when we're unlearning patterns and beliefs from our childhood, and we need to debunk these things that we were told in terms of the way things should be or how you should live your life. We have to reposition and restructure our consciousness so that we can walk fully in our inner being. So my hope for you as you go forth in your day and as you move forward in life is that you put into practice the honoring of your inner being by putting into practice the fruit of the Spirit. You deserve joy, you deserve peace, You deserve bliss. You get to make that choice. No one can take it away from you. So I say, go forth and honor your true self and watch everything that you desire come to manifestation for you. I love you, brothers and sisters, and I thank you so much for having me today.
Well, listen, it ain't got to be over. You know, some folks have to leave at 8 o'clock. Okay. You know, people do have to leave at 8 o'clock, but we don't have to leave at 8 o'clock. But I leave that up to you and where Spirit is taking you, because it don't take all day to deliver a powerful message. So I know that there were some shares. If you're up for it, Tirza, let us know how much more time you have.
I'm here. I want to talk to the community. I want to hear what folks are thinking. Any questions?
Sure.
I saw questions.
Sure.
I would love to be able to do some, what I call like a life strategy session. If someone wants to unpack something, I'm here.
Yes. So love this, love you. All right. So I just want to, I'm looking to see where the voices are. Miss Sister Zaria, I would love for you to unmute. And you talked about your daughter. She said, every time my daughter says something negative about herself, I jump on her like she is a third party. So I'm just like, I get the desire to make sure you transform the negative, but then I'm like, the jump on. I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. But let me mind my business and hear what you have to say first before I go in. Then we'll hear from Kathy and Amal. Sister Zaria, if you can unmute yourself. I'm trying to find you on. Go ahead. There you go, sis.
Yeah, blessed morning, family.
Yes.
Right. So basically, she is at that age where she's 16, she's 17 now. And she's all about the this and the, you know how it is when you say the lip gloss and the hair and and then looking in the window in the mirror a lot. And sometimes she'll say, oh, my nose, you know, it's too this, or oh, this, that, you know, all these little negative things that she'll pop up with sometimes. And I'll just turn my head and be like, what? Don't you ever talk about my daughter like that. I don't let nobody talk about my daughter like that. Are you crazy? That's my daughter. That's my daughter. And I just go on her like, you know, hey, my daughter, I birthed her. She's gorgeous. She's perfect. I love her. Are you serious? Don't you ever. Me and you can't get along if you don't love my daughter, because I love my daughter. So I jump on her like that, you know, and then she'll get a little giggle out of it. You know, it'll shift the situation. And then she'll just like laugh and be like, oh, Ma, you're crazy. And then she'll like close her mouth and walk away, you know. So that's what I meant by jumping on her like she's a third party.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. I want to say that the response to other people's behaviors or what they say, you know, I joke and tell my daughter, oh, I'm not engaging in that conversation with you. I'm not doing that, right? I'm not even going to acknowledge it because it's not truth, you know. But when I think about what you just shared, it's looking at the principles and the practices in terms of how we respond to people when they say things that aren't true. Are we doing it in kindness? Are we doing it in gentleness? Are we doing it in self-control, right? So that's the test for us. When someone makes us uncomfortable, how can we implement those practices in a way where they're able to receive all of us in the moment?
All righty. So Kathy, if you could unmute, and then Amal. Kathy, are you there? All right, Amal, if you can unmute, let me see what's happening with Kathy.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Oh boy, this is so on point for me right now. I just got a stomach ache from remembering how my mother used to speak to me, and she would defend me from other people, but she would verbally mistreat me, which I found very interesting. And so I used that with my relationship with my children, and how to be a better mother. And then earlier in the conversation, I was getting so much joy from the exercise, the first exercise that you asked us to participate in, and to know that I have power to do that, to take myself to wonderful places. So right now I'm giving birth to myself at 59 years old. I'm giving birth to myself, to my true self that has been in bondage for so long. And I'm happy about that. I'm taking responsibility, and I'm confident that the best is yet to come, and that I have to learn how to give positive self-talk, because for many years, people who I thought loved me and who were in my community spoke negative toward me and about me, and I found myself doing the same thing. So as I'm giving birth to myself, I'm coming in alignment with the things that I desire is matching up to the things that I need. The things that God wants for me are the same things that I want for me. So I'm excited about that today. I love it. I love this community. I love this community, and thank you. Thank you so much.
I have to say, wow, on that last statement, that what God wants for me, I want for myself. What I want for myself, God wants for me. How do you know that, sister? Because you are tapping into your inner being. Like when you say I'm learning myself, that is literally the practice. How do you know that? Because you're tuning into you, all of you. You're honoring yourself. What a beautiful thing. The other piece I want to talk about is the activity that we did when we first started and the joy that you found in that. That's something you can practice on a day-to-day basis to tap into all the joy that you deserve. That's part of the practice. Be intentional with finding a space of joy, because what that will do is calm you and bring you to what is the truth that is already in your inner being. Okay, some of you may pray, some of you may meditate, and you may already be able to go into that space. But a simple thing of thinking on something that makes you feel good, having intentional thoughts on what makes you feel good rather than what doesn't make you feel good, is the secret to getting closer to the truth of your inner being and what's for you. What's for you.
All righty, thank you. Amal, are you ready, beloved?
Yeah, I am. So thank you for taking me back. The beginning of the conversation was about how to tap into spirit. And I was sitting back contemplating the how my walk was. I started out with not knowing anything. What came out of my mouth seemed to not be absorbed by people who were around me. I didn't know what to say, what to do. So then I started doing some work, and I'm learning how spirit can just speak to me. I took one of your courses, Shani, where doing intuiting things, and someone said something. Do you remember that first session we did? I forgot the name of it. Where the sister said something, and I just sat there, and it just came to me about the church and what have you. And she said, "You're dead on," and that gave me even more confidence. I was doing the pendulum at one point for decisions. I would go into meditation for decisions. I mean, whatever it was. But now me and Spirit say, okay, Spirit, I don't know what you want with this, but you have to show me either in a dream, however you want to bring it to me, or even just the thought being, there it is. And I'm learning to trust it. And it's wonderful to be where I am now, to be able to really tap into that energy. It just gives me power. And it's just a beautiful space to be in. Even as I said earlier about changing the world is changing so very much. There's no, and things that are going on now, there's really no fear for me, because I know that God is in charge. I know that everything is in divine order, and everything is where it's supposed to be and happening the way it's supposed to be. And at this point, since I can't get out, all I'm doing is sitting back in prayer and just knowing, okay, let me see it unfold. There's so many things that have happened in my life, in my span of these 7 decades, that I never thought would ever happen. And here I have chosen to be born at that time in the 40s to see all of it come to fruition. And so I just feel I am grateful, I am thankful, and my peaceful place is sitting on a white sand in Ghana at Cape Coast.
Hey.
The water just lapping on the beach, and I got a little fruit drink in my hand, laying on a beach, on a, whatever you call that, chair, and just chilling out. And I'm good.
Ashe. Ashe. Beautiful. Tirza, you know, one of the things that is really powerful and unique about this community is our deep level of transparency about where we are and where we've come from. Just recognizing that we didn't just pop up the beautiful, shiny flowers that we are. And you looking as flawless as you look, I know it has been a journey to get there. And so thinking about these final minutes that we have, I would love for us, the community, to hear a bit more of your story and how you have applied the fruits of the Spirit to your life and some of the challenges that you've had. Because, you know, one of the things about being a powerful facilitator or a holder of space is sometimes we think, and I've actually constantly debunked, dispelled this, knocked myself off the platform that people put me on, that people start to think that you got this, that you haven't gone through anything, that shininess, you just popped out of the womb, standing up straight and having life handed to you on a platter. So I'm just asking if you can create the space of knowing for us of who you are and what your journey has been.
Sure, Shani. And thank you so much for allowing me to do that. I appreciate that. You know, this woman that you look at is a consistent work in progress. You know, I am the epitome of self-work, self-work, self-work. And as I experience different things in life, I'm reminded why it's so important that I continue the journey of self-work. But how I actually got into this business of motivation and just wanting to impart life and information into others is from my own journey of when I was much younger. I call myself a recovering addict of low self-esteem. You know, I struggled with self-esteem issues early on. I grew up with my mother telling me how beautiful and pretty I was all the time, yet there was an emptiness within me that I had to go and discover and figure out and search through. You know, I don't want to be just the pretty girl. I want it to be something that feels good in me. And so it really started with me going on my own journey of personal discovery and self-help. And that's where I found a love for self-help. And as I began to heal and go through the work, being a fatherless daughter as well, okay, growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, having a lot of issues with the girls in the neighborhood because either my hair was a certain way or my skin color was a certain way, whatever they made up about me, these are things that I grew up with. And that all impacted me. But when I discovered the beauty in self-help and that I can take control of how I feel and begin to see myself and look at myself different from whatever story I've told myself, okay, or what other people have said about me, that's when I began to tap into my power. But that was only the beginning. That was only the beginning, right? So, you know, I know this lady, I've been saying my age so much, my goodness, but I'm 43 years old, right? So, you know, there's a course that I've gone through in different situations I experienced. You know, one of the things, by the way, that I'm going through right now is a divorce, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And in that, I had a powerful brokenness and transformation. I'm in the journey of that right now as I speak to you. I don't even know what later will bring. I may be on my knees crying in tears in the next hour, because when you go through something like that, you don't know when the grief is going to hit. But yet I'm still called to serve. I'm still called to serve and do the work. Sometimes I get mad at God because if it was my choice, I would go hide in the closet. Why I have to be out here helping people? Why do I have to be on the forefront and got to get it all together? Because sometimes I don't feel like that. But in my brokenness, God has brought me even closer and more in line to my purpose and in my calling, and and having more authority in the spirit and in the work that I do. So, and I know we have a conversation about what brokenness means. And listen, I was broke. Sometimes I feel broke. I call it brokenness, but I am beautiful. I am going through a healing process and a healing journey, and everything that I'm learning through this, I'm able to impart to other brothers and sisters. It was all part of the plan and purpose. So that's a snippet of my life.
Yeah.
We have more time more, but we ain't got time for that.
Right. Well, what I will ask, just thinking about the journey that you're in right now in the season of rite of passage, the divorce, and the transition, and all that you've just shared. What fruits have been most activated in your journey? Because there's 8, and sometimes all we can do is hold on to one with all of our might, nails like in it, and just holding on for dear life. And so I'm curious about what fruits have been enlivened and activated in your life.
Love that question. So remember, I talked about this idea of low self-esteem and did I really love myself? And then I discovered, oh, I love myself. I'm fabulous. I'm great. But in this process of the divorce, what I'm realizing is I lost myself. I lost myself somewhere in the marriage. And in some of the things that I experienced, I lost love for myself. I didn't honor myself. I allowed stuff that was not an expression of self-love. And so now it's a rebirthing for me. I am being rebirthed and beginning to value and see myself in a different way and in a different light. I'm a new being. I'm a new being. And I'm learning to love myself in a different way. The other piece that I want to speak about is the self-control, which I said I'm in a season of that now. So the season I'm in requires me to maintain stillness. And I'm getting emotional because it's requiring me to be still and not do the things that I want to do, or do the things that I feel would pacify and fix or comfort me in my most lonely times. So that requires patience. I know the conversation about patience like you won't believe. I'm standing in the wait. The self-control to not be impulsive when I want to, or if I want to entertain some company. Okay.
Yes, I get that.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so learning how to be with self is part of the self-love. I'm with self. And with God, let me, I cannot say that. I cannot forget that. You know, and in this journey, it was a very clear directive for me to be still, draw into me, God, and draw into yourself. So draw into me, the self, love me, and lean into God. And it's not always easy because I'm human, but I'm committed to the process. As Mika said, I'm trusting the process.
Ashe, beautiful, beautiful. So there are some shares. Oh, first and foremost, let me say thank you for the libation in the form of your tears. Thank you for covering us and washing us over and baptizing us with your tears. That's the gift that just keeps on giving. And we appreciate that. And there's some comments on Facebook that I wanted to share because they're part of the extended family of Wake Up, and we're so grateful for the presence of the Facebookers and always are inviting them into the Zoom space so they can experience the full juice of the Wake Up series. So Tiny Verse, or TNYVS, I don't want to mess up your name, and so apologetic about that if this is not the way you want it to be pronounced. It says guard.
I apologize, it's Tanya VS.
Oh, Tanya VS. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya, forgive us. Tanya said, guard your heart, trust your wisdom or discernment, teeming with kindness and strength. I love the word teeming. It's like bubbling over. So beautiful. Keep on trusting in me, meaning herself. And then also she said, you are powerful. And I think this is an affirmation for herself and then also for us as well. You are powerful and you are a blessing. Use your gifts in confidence. And Penny Roundtree says, my inner voice is always reminding me to protect my spirit woman, especially from negativity, from myself and others. Ashe. So I just wanted to make sure that we brought those messages in. And also, tears are for you. It's so funny, tears though. Like, I love to be experienced the tears that you had to bring. And also love that you have activated and motivated people and inspired people in this space to share some of their struggles and reminded us that there are fruits that we can tap into at any time and eat from, drink from, grow from, expand from, transform from. So thank you for that. And just thinking about what final pieces you want to share with us, because you've given so much, but what else is there that is in your heart to share, or do you want to hear from other people? Because we have Stacy, Teresa, and Adam here. I will go in whatever direction, or we will go in whatever direction you're led.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear from other people. You know, let's
Okay.
the community. Yeah.
Awesome. So Stacy, unmute yourself, and we acknowledge Stacy for bringing Tirza into this community. You would not be here if it wasn't for her invitation. So please unmute Stacy if you would.
Hello, hello. Grand Rising, beautiful people. I just want to say hello to my beautiful friend and sister for over 25 years. We have stories like you wouldn't know, and we've come a long way. And God has always, okay, had his hand on us, no matter where we was at. Hallelujah. So I'm just so grateful and so blessed to see you here this morning. You've been doing your thing. You've been doing this for so long. And for you to be a part of the Wake Up Everybody community is just so beautiful that I get to share you with them. Like, I'm getting emotional now. Like, I get to share and bask in all of this. Like, this is all God. Like, this is all divine. And like, they get to see who you are. They get to tap into you, and they get, and this comes from Shawnee, I believe, my sister, myself. Like, we have this community where we're all like basking in everybody's teachings and tools, and it's just so beautiful. And when people get to see you, they get to see themselves. Like, I see you, I see me. Right? And then, like, just like I see Jacqueline, I see me. I see Louise, I see me. I see Shawnee, I see me. So when we look at each other, and when we look at your beauty and whatever the brokenness and what has emerged from that, like, we get to see ourselves. And just like, even like hearing about, yes, like, look at, I'm going through a divorce right now. Like, and for those of us who have actually been through a divorce to know what that is like, which is like a death, like, which I shared with someone the other day. So us tapping into that and still being aligned with spirit is very important, to have the spirit of discernment. Like you said, like, we can feel this, but is it aligned? So having that alignment, and that's something that I pray for every single day at my altar, is I pray for the spirit of discernment. So I just thank God for you being here, for you and all of your magnificence and all of your non-magnificence all balled up in one, and just like bringing it here to us today. And I thank everybody in the Wake Up Everybody community just for showing up. Like, we show up for each other every day, and it takes something. Sometimes people don't want to get out the bed, roll over and just like come on. And sometimes we got scarves on, bonnets, and it's all good. It's like we are here to hold the space for one another. So just thank you for showing up. Like, now I'm like, ooh, let me go get cute today. Look at her. So thank you for your beauty and spraying that all around us. And thank you, Shawnee, again, for Wake Up Everybody. We're on our 95th days, this 95. Like, what a blessing.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sis.
All righty. So let's hear from Teresa. Unmute yourself, Teresa, and then Adam will be the final one before we start to close out.
I just the thing that hit me just now was share, you know, like serving when you going through stuff. And I want to thank you for that, because I've been angry about having to serve. I mean, I still do it, but I don't want to be angry. I want to be able to do it without being angry. And I know I'm called to serve people, but sometimes dealing with people is very challenging. And I think I got lost in the anger. And so today I have to, you know, like I never heard anyone break down those the fruit of the spirit like you broke down today. And I just want to tell you thank you. You know, for making me get back to, you know, a place of healing and a place of love. And I know once I do that, that I'll be just fine in serving, you know, in the hurt. Because there's times like when I didn't want to get up for the wake up call, but I just felt like, I mean, I had like very little sleep and my eyes popping open. I was like, I don't feel like this today, but in coming on, a change is taking place in my life. And I want to thank all of y'all that are on here. I'm not the same woman that I was when I got on here. And I've learned so much. And through this COVID-19, without this COVID-19, my life would not be the same that it has become. And I want to tell all of y'all, all your facilitators, all one that shows so much love. Thank y'all very, very much. And I really appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Adam, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I just want to say, Tirza, thank you for this exercise, and thank you, Shawnee, for hosting this beautiful queen. I just want to say that if we're gonna tap into our higher self, we got to learn how to not only take care of ourselves, but to take care of our environment that surrounds us. Clean your house, clean up your yard, go work out. Start eating better, because I believe the way that we treat each other and the way that we treat ourselves is a perfect indicator of the community that we could create for ourselves tomorrow.
Excellent. Great point.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love the co-creation of this community, and Tirza, something was just brought to my attention by one of the leaders in the space, that we collapse the concept of helping and service as if they are one, and they are not one. You can help someone and not be in service. And so when I think about what you shared, which I talked about in the very first session of Wake Up, that when my daughter passed away, my first session was leaning into loss, and and how death and loss, the darkness of death can lead to the light and give us access to life in a powerful way. And her passing was devastating. Her passing shook me to the core, and her passing activated something in me and expanded my service and my purpose on the planet. And what I shared for everyone and say over and over again, that yes, she died, but that has nothing to do with my purpose. It can expand it, but it can't stop and block it. So my service, my purpose, like being of service, giving from not even your overflow. Sometimes we give from the depleted aspects of ourselves because that's what we're called to do. And while I was deeply mourning her death, when I had the opportunity to stand before community at her wake service and at her homegoing service, I was more convicted to give a message of light and love and about the power of her thousands of days of living as opposed to one day of her dying. And so when you serve on that level and you're operating from the vibration of service, you're unstoppable and nothing gets in the way. Now, do we need rest? Do we need to lick our wounds? Absolutely. But nothing in this life, as it transforms, should be like, oh, let me put my service and my purpose on the shelf and just go into the closet like you talked about and hide. So I thank you for reminding this community of that, the call for our lives and why we're born. And we can choose not to activate it. Like, I'm just so clear, like we have free will. But when you don't, you get your ass kicked on a regular basis. I know I have when I've turned away from my purpose and my call to service. And so helping is one thing. There's a lot of helpers in this space, and sometimes we help from a very low vibrational space. We give because we want something back. It's transactional. It's about us. It's us taking things personally or feeling like if we don't help, we're gonna, fear of reprisal. But when you're serving from a high vibrational place, it's a totally different energy, and it's a totally different feel, and it's a totally different outcome. So I just wanted to make sure, and I thank you, Mika, for the nudge, that we make that distinction in our speaking about what we're talking about today. And Tirza, I thank you for just being awesome and dope and just generous as you are with your entire self and entire being. So what else do you want to say as we prepare to close out?
Wow. My call to action to everyone is choose to live and walk in your higher self. Be your best. Be like, one of the things that I had to grow into in this continuation of service in this season is knowing that there is a space for me. Every single person on this call has a divine space. If you haven't stepped out, it's time to step out. If you are being passive and looking for permission, stop being passive, and here's your permission. And don't look for permission anymore. Live your best life, function and operate in your inner being, and let the world see what you have. And I feel like it's so appropriate to say that because all the love that you all showered on me, if I didn't get that message and choose in obedience to operate in my space and believe there is a space for me, I wouldn't have this opportunity. So I want to encourage every man and woman on this call to don't be unapologetic in all that you are. You are a creation of God, and there is great work for you to do. Go forth and do it unapologetically. Operate fully in your space.
Thank you, beautiful. So we're gonna move to the slides, and Tirza, if you need support, just call forth. We're here to support. So let us know who you are, how we can be in touch with you, and then also request the love in the form of my own natural energy yield, which is money. So you take it away and take us on home.
Excellent, thank you. So folks, I am a motivational specialist and a personal and professional development strategist. And what I enjoy most is connecting one-on-one with individuals who want nothing more than to have an opportunity to unpack an important life concern. Whether it's family, career, business, goals, fear, change, faith, the pursuit of happiness, the opportunity to spiritually connect with an individual and help them to arrive at a place where they leave a session, a life strategy session with me, clear on what is next for them to get from one step to the next is the greatest fulfillment and service to me. And so what I invite you to do is take this opportunity to book a complimentary life strategy session with me. This will be a powerful experience, and warning, tears are always welcome and usually occur. Why? Because transformation is taking place in just 45 minutes. Folks, I don't play. And so I invite you to join me and allow me to join you to unpack something that's on your heart. We all have something we're trying to figure out. And sometimes we don't have trusted people around us, or we have people who are too opinionated to help us discern and gain the wisdom we need to determine what to do next. And so if you have something on your heart, you are welcome to join me in a complimentary life strategy session where we will go back and forth. And I promise you, you're going to walk away clear. You're going to walk away with the strategy. You're going to walk away free. So book your session today. Don't wait. So how to contact me? Well, you see there the bit.ly link for strategy sessions with Tirza. I would love for you to follow me and connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Tirza Motivates. You can visit my website, tirzamotivates.com, where you can subscribe to my monthly newsletter, motivational newsletter as well. I produce my own events. I'm actually in the process of designing a program called Growing in the Spirit. Okay, and that's going to be launched this fall. So if you want to learn more about that or learn more about my speaking events or coaching, I say follow me. Keep in contact with me. Let's love on each other. I love you, you love me, and we have a community, okay? So please do check out Tirza Motivates. All right, so, I am thankful to be here. I'm thankful that I have been able to give. You know, I have this oath of manifestation that our sister Stacy gave me, and she shared it on one of her sessions. And it talks about this idea of receiving and giving. And in reading it every day, what it has done for me is grow my desire to be more of a giver. To get my eyes off of myself and correlate abundance with giving. If I have abundance, if I'm full, I'm able to give to others. And so this was a platform that allowed me to do that. And I thank you for that. Now I challenge you and call you to also be a giver, because in the giving, we are blessing and filling and helping in the process of continuous service. So if your heart calls you, and if your spirit is calling you, and if your inner being, listen to that inner being telling you, let me love on that sister, I will not reject your offering, okay? So if you want to shower me with a love offering, please do so. I appreciate you. I thank you. And I love what the way Mika put it when she did hers. Every time a love offering comes in, I'm able to continue to do work at no cost. I'm able to show up for events like this, but still plant into my business, which is the service of others. So thank you, folks, for listening to your spirit and listening to your inner being if you're being called to provide a love offering to me. Thank you.
All right, so tomorrow, our beloved sister, Dr. Amai Clarice Munches, is going to be speaking, presenting, facilitating, holding space for us. Whew, and I cannot wait. This sister is a powerhouse, and we get an opportunity to engage in what stories bring us strength. And I have loads of stories, and I know that all of us, like, we're part of this continuum of stories and threads. I always say that make up the tapestry of our lives. And so we get an opportunity to experience that beautiful cultural extravaganza. And, you know, just you're in for a treat. So please tune in, set your alarms, invite other people. If you are new to this space and you have not registered, or if you are a seasoned person and you have not registered for this week, today is only Wednesday. We have tomorrow, we have Friday, we have Saturday, we have Sunday, and then Monday is our 100th day. And we're going to do something special. It's a 2-hour session by design, not by default. And we're going to be celebrating the beauty and the awesomeness of this community. So please invite others to be part of our 100th day extravaganza, and please keep tuning in each of the days that lead up to the 100th day, which is Monday. So thank you. Please stay in touch. We experienced deep touch energetically and spiritually and emotionally with Tirza today. And we ask that we continue to stay in touch as a community, post on Facebook, just be present to one another and the need to just stay aligned as a community. If you have not registered, once again, register by utilizing bit.ly/wake up movement. Please do post on our Facebook page, Wake Up Everybody Virtual Series. Continue, talk about what you experienced today. Talk about those 8 fruits of the spirit that Tirza broke down masterfully this morning. Join us on Instagram at Wake Up Series. You can contact us and you can connect with Brother Kobler, who's our community liaison, about anything that's on your mind, heart, and spirit about this process, suggestions you want to make. And you can do that at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And then once again, the survey. If you're new to the space, you can talk about what your experience was today. If you come for the second, the third, the fourth time and you haven't filled out the survey, please do that. If you've mainly been on Facebook and you just jumped into Zoom today, or if you're on Facebook, please do fill out the survey as a Facebooker. We need your communication, we need your suggestions and your light. So bit.ly/WUE survey. WUE stands for Wake Up Everybody. All right, we are complete. So we get to pour our love shower onto our beloved sister Tirza. So please unmute, family. Please unmute, and then let's do what we know how to do best, which is to love on our facilitators.
We love you, Tirza.
We love you, Tirza. That was amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Transparency.
Thank you so much.
God
bless
you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Tirza.
I know that way too many people that our lives are continuing to transform as a result of
Our
chimes.
I'm missing them.
Wonderful.
And I really love the fruit of the spirit. I feel like
Love you,
it's the
Tirza.
fruit that
I love you, Shawnee.
make that connection and just all the greatness inside. So I hope that everybody's able to take this with them on their day and have a beautiful day. Love you all.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Stacey, for
Mwah.
sharing.
There's so much more to come.
Mwah.
Thank you, Tirza.
Thank you.
Mwah.
All right, and I'm giving all the kisses.
Stacey, thank you for bringing her.
Mwah.
Thank you.
I love you, Tirza. I love you, Shawnee.
Purpose. Thank you. Thank you for your service, boo. It's not always easy, but when you're called, you answer the call. Thank you for answering the call. To whom much is given, much is required. We got a lot of requirements.
Bruce.
Mwah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Blessing.
Everybody. Be blessed.
Beautiful.
Start
Thank
out.
you. God bless you. You will continue your ministry, continue your work, continue blessing lives. Lives are blessed because of you. You are walking in your purpose and your power. Hallelujah. You better believe it. You already know. You already know. Thank you for sowing the seeds, the spirit. We all know where to find that. Galatians 5:22. Might be for somebody go hop in your Bible this morning.
Thank you. Tirza, that was so wonderful. God bless and keep you. Continue the elevation and giving work session ministry. And it's in the midst of our trials, and it's in the midst of when we're at our lowest peak. The true essence of us comes out when we're at our lowest peak. Continue to shine, my sister. Continue to shine. Continue. To the Wake Up Everybody crew, I love y'all. Y'all are dope.
Love you, Charmaine.
I know what I want to
Peace
say.
and
Y'all dope
blessings.
but I want to say it. I love y'all.
Dope AF.
Peace and blessings.